What if I told you that the one thing you're always searching for is actually the reason you fail? I'm talking about motivation, that incredible, electric feeling when you start something new. The rush of a brilliant idea. You feel unstoppable. You tell yourself this time is different. But what happens a week later, when the work gets boring and the excitement fades? That powerful motivation vanishes, and you're left with another half-finished project, feeling like a failure. You're not lazy, you're not broken. You've just been using the wrong fuel. In the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you a simple story about a young watchmaker and an old, impossible clock. This story holds the secret to unlocking a power inside you that is far more reliable than motivation. It's a quiet force that doesn't fade, and it's the only thing that guarantees you will finish what you start. Stay with me, because the lesson he learned might just be the one you've been waiting. Leo was a watchmaker. He has inherited a small, dusty shop from his father, a man who had been one of the best watchmakers in the entire country. The shop was filled with tiny tools, magnifying glasses, and the gentle, ticking sound of dozens of clocks. Leo was talented, very talented. He understood how the tiny gears and springs worked together to tell time. But Leo was impatient. He was bored by the simple, everyday work of the shop, cleaning an old woman's watch or replacing a battery. He felt this work was beneath him. In his mind, Leo was an inventor. His sketchbook was filled with grand, complicated clocks that had never been seen before. Clocks with spinning planets and moving figures that would dance on the hour. These ideas were his passion. He would work on them for hours, fueled by a rush of creative energy. But the moment he hit a difficult problem, a part he couldn't figure out, his excitement would vanish. He'd get frustrated and push the project aside, waiting for a new, even more exciting idea to strike him. Because of this, his shop was failing. He was so busy chasing the next brilliant idea that he neglected the real work that paid the bills. A layer of dust settled on the counters, and the loyal customers of his father's day slowly stopped coming. The silence in the shop was growing louder than the ticking of the clocks. One morning, an old, wealthy man entered the shop. He placed a beautiful but silent grandfather clock on the counter. It was a masterpiece made of dark, polished wood and engraved brass. "My father left this to me," the old man said, his voice quiet. "It hasn't ticked in 50 years. I have taken it to a dozen watchmakers, and they all say it is beyond repair. They say your father was the only one who could have fixed it." The old man looked at Leo, his eyes searching. "They say you have his talent. I will pay you enough money to save this shop, if you can make it work again." A flash of excitement, of motivation, shot through Leo. This was not a boring repair. This was a challenge, a legendary clock that no one else could fix. This was a chance to prove he was a genius. "I'll do it," Leo said confidently, his mind already racing. For the first few days, Leo was consumed by the clock. He worked with a fiery passion, carefully taking apart the complex machine, piece by tiny piece. It was thrilling. But then, the real work began. The clock was made of over 1,000 individual parts. To find the problem, every single one had to be cleaned, checked, and measured. It was slow, it was tedious, it was profoundly boring. After a week of this painstaking work, Leo's motivation was completely gone. He stared at the thousands of tiny pieces laid out on his workbench and felt nothing but a rising tide of frustration. His mind started to wander back to his exciting new clock designs. "This is a waste of time," he thought. "I could be creating something new, something brilliant." One afternoon, in a fit of anger, he accidentally knocked a tray of tiny screws onto the floor. As he got on his hands and knees to pick them up, a wave of despair washed over him. He felt like a failure. He decided he would call the old man in the morning and tell him the clock was unfixable. That night, unable to sleep, he was cleaning out his father's old, dusty desk, ready to give up on the whole business. In a hidden drawer, he found a set of small, leather-bound journals. They were his father's work logs. He opened the first one, not knowing what he was looking for. He expected to read about passion, about genius, about the art of watchmaking, but there was none of that. Instead, the pages were filled with simple, humble entries. Tuesday, cleaned the escapement wheel of Mrs. Gable's pocket watch. Took 3 hours. The third gear was worn, must replace. Thursday, a young boy brought in his father's old watch. Not worth much, but it meant the world to him. Spent the afternoon fixing it for free. The look on his face was good payment. Wednesday, spent all day on the mainspring of the town hall clock. My back aches, still not right. I failed to fix it today. We'll try again tomorrow. Page after page, it was the same. A simple, honest record of the work. The slow, boring, and difficult work. At the end of the first journal, his father had written a single, short paragraph. A man who works only when he is inspired will be a man of many beginnings and no endings. The great clock does not tick because it is inspired. It ticks because it is built correctly. It follows its rule, second after second. The work of a craftsman must be the same. You do not show up because you feel good. You show up, and in doing the work, you might, if you are lucky, begin to feel good. The words hit Leo like a physical blow. He had been looking at his work all wrong. His father wasn't a genius because he was always inspired. He was a genius because he always showed up. He had the discipline to do the boring work. Day after day, that was his secret. The next morning, Leo walked into his shop, and he was a different man. He didn't wait for a feeling of excitement. He didn't look at his own sketches. He walked over to the thousands of pieces of the grandfather clock and picked up a single, tiny gear. He made a new rule for himself. He would work on the clock for 4 hours every morning. No matter what, even if it was boring, even if he was frustrated, he would just show up and do the work. The first few days were the hardest. His mind screamed at him to stop, to do something more interesting. One morning, he spent the entire 4 hours just trying to clean a single, stubborn part, making almost no visible progress. The old Leo would have quit in a rage. But the new Leo just calmly put his tools down at the end of the 4 hours and said to himself, "I will try again tomorrow." Slowly, a change began to happen. As he worked, he started to find a new kind of satisfaction. A quiet pride not in a brilliant idea, but in a job well done. He began to see the beauty in the small things, the perfect fit of 2 gears, the clean shine of polished brass. He wasn't just fixing a clock anymore. He was learning the craft of his father. He was building character. After 3 long weeks of the steady, disciplined work, he found it. A single tooth, on a tiny gear deep inside the clock, was bent. It was a flaw so small, so insignificant, that it was almost invisible. It was something you would only find if you had the patience to look at every single piece. With the careful hands of a surgeon, he fixed the tooth. Then slowly and methodically, he began to put the 1,000 pieces back together. Finally, the moment came. He hung the last pendulum, gave it a gentle push, and stepped back. For a moment, there was silence, and then the magic happened. The clock started ticking. The sound was the most beautiful thing Leo had ever heard. It was the sound of a promise kept. It was the sound of discipline. It was the sound of good work. The next day, the old man returned. Leo simply pointed to the corner of the shop where the grandfather clock stood, its pendulum swinging in a steady, perfect rhythm. The old man walked over to it, his eyes wide. He closed his eyes, just listening to the sound for a full minute. "My father used to wind this clock every Sunday morning," the old man said softly, a tear rolling down his cheek. "I haven't heard this sound since I was a boy. You haven't just fixed a clock. You have given me back a piece of my life." Leo understood then. The work wasn't about him or his genius. It was about service. It was about preserving something that mattered to someone else. It was about the steady, honest work that keeps the world turning. What is the lesson we learn here today? Leo fixed the clock and saved his shop. But more importantly, he had fixed himself. He learned the most important lesson a craftsman can ever learn. So what is the lesson for us? It is simple. First, motivation is the spark that starts the car, but discipline is the engine that drives it on the long journey. You need the spark to get going, But if you don't have an engine, you won't get very far. A car that is all spark and no engine will just sit in the driveway, making exciting noises but going nowhere. Second, learn to love the process, not just the prize. The real reward is not finishing the project. The real reward is becoming the kind of person who can finish the project. The pride that comes from doing hard, boring work is deeper and more lasting than the fleeting excitement of a new idea. And finally, just show up when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're bored. That is when it counts the most. Don't worry about the whole staircase. Just focus on taking the next single step. Clean one gear, write one sentence, make one phone call. That is how great things are truly built. Not by lightning, but by the steady, quiet and unstoppable power of showing up, day after day after day. I hope